Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the West Side Spidey Boys. Today, I'm with two new guests, Rickster and Gregorious. How's it going today, guys?
Hey.
How's it going? Doing pretty good.
It's doing pretty good.
We have this is my first time on here, but we have less guests this time compared to the last one, correct?
Yes. I don't think we're going to be doing that again for a while.
Last one was a mess.
The 6 people. You don't like 6 people podcast?
Well, okay. The issue with the 6 people podcast was it was complicated. I guess not a lot of people were talking, and we got to get more guests who are invested in the show. But that's it.
That's reasonable.
That's why we brought you on today.
Thank you. We gotta have the reliable people on. You know, we're getting an equipment set up. You know.
Yeah. Okay. What would you like to talk about?
Well, you should probably chew your food before you speak. But, I think we should probably talk about what's going on with Disney. So you guys hear, in recent news, everything involving the whole Sony wants to take back Spider-Man, and Spider-Man, the movie rights are shared between Disney and Sony, basically.
Yeah, no, they're shared between Disney and Sony, and at first they started a deal where they were supposed to make like movies together, and eventually the whole cinematic universe, Spider-Man's universe, was going to be part of the MCU universe, and they were going to be the same thing.
It was going to be the one with like Black Cat.
Yeah. Well, actually, they were talking about it. They were saying that they wanted to bring in Venom and Morbius into their universe, even though it was in the Sony's universe, so it was a bit complicated. And then after that, they were fighting, we can't really make a villains movie without a hero. So that's why they made Venom. But Venom was like an anti-hero, I guess you could say.
Yeah, but it's like we need to talk about Spider-Man compared to how Spider-Man is comparing to the rest of the MCU. Yeah. Because Spider-Man is a much bigger character than every single other character in the MCU currently.
That's true.
Both fight, why the fight for their movie rights is so important. But I think it's interesting to note, or rather, gain more income, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the story is that negotiate the deal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually, they were being kind of like, is tyrannical a word? They were being tyrants basically because Disney was trying to renegotiate the deal to where they would take a much larger cut of the profits than they were usually going to be taking.
Yeah.
And apparently they're known for pulling that kind of stuff all the time. And Disney just Sony put their foot down and said, no, you're keeping what you're getting. And Disney said, fine, deal's off. So now it's Spider-Man Broken Home.
But the thing is, though, is that there was a huge fan backlash. Was it justified or not? Probably not.
No, they all got mad at Sony.
Have you heard the theory that Disney purposefully, because it was a leak.
Yeah.
That Disney purposefully leaked the negotiations because they know they have such a huge backlash, which they, morally speaking, don't deserve.
Yeah, no,
like
for sure.
that, the Spider-Man movie rights, not Spider-Man the character itself, but his movie rights.
Yeah.
So it's like with its like very monopoly-like practices.
Well, for Sony, most Sony,
which they deserve.
Because it's their reason why MCU wanted more money, even though they've already been getting billions through the event.
They make so much money by selling children's. We have another property that could potentially make billions, but we don't own.
So essentially, Sony would have gotten 500,000,
and Marvel
only crossed $1 billion. So there's really no need for them to get that extra money if they're already.
They need the money.
No, they definitely do not need the money. They just want it.
This is the thing, is that I've heard actual records.
So they're making too many movies, I guess you could say.
Yeah. The way too many movies. Times, leading one's gonna be some Disney crap, Star Wars, Marvel. So it's like they're spending all this money making movies that it doesn't really make sense.
It's not necessary. Yeah.
I think I've told you this before behind the microphone.
Yeah, personally.
I think that Disney has essentially become a monopoly is because he's had a pretty rough history financially.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Huge ups, huge downs. So it's like a huge down. It's not unrealistic. It's probably happened before.
Yeah.
See that he's turned into a cash cow for like a bunch of elites in like Hollywood. It's worse because like you could say, oh well, don't watch the movies then.
Mm-hmm.
But then you read the comics.
Yeah. Well, like in the comics, bringing that up, he was alone. Yeah, he was a very different character. He wasn't dependent on anybody. He had to make his own costume. He had any moral support because he couldn't even tell Aunt May he was Spider-Man without risking her life.
Her dying.
Yeah, of her dying. Yeah, and can be a huge loss because yeah, he's not part of the MCU. He's not part of these other heroes, but more as a character fighting villains that he would never fight in the MCU.
Think about the movies aren't necessary if you want to get if you want to get those specific stories, then you just read Spider-Man comics. But when your only source of like superhero western, not to become socially aware or politically aware, that's not.
Yeah.
But become, I guess, starting off on the new Marvel comics are not the best.
Wouldn't be the best option. Information or your background of this character on the movies, which
the source material is not. The source material is the source material. But even the new source material.
Honestly, I don't know too much about the comics. All I really I used to be a huge fan of
Maguire movies.
Yeah, that's all I had, and that's why I liked it so much because of the faces he'd make.
Especially for the character, and now that it won't be like money greeting and all.
Disney, big fat giant cigar in their mouth.
Yeah, go to Buena Vista.
Yeah, like
here, give me my coffee.
Yeah, those kinds of people. As long as we keep that away from them.
But I think a better question is: do Spider-Man movies need to be made?
Yes.
Garfield. We had
2 movies with Tom. Well, no, we had like 4 movies with Tom Holland. 10, dude.
Around 10.
Especially because Sony's trying to make 2 other movies.
I don't think even Superman has that many.
No, he doesn't.
That many.
They were trying to petition for it, but it never worked out.
Wow.
Didn't he leave
in the movie that he really wanted to do, they weren't listening to his.
Wait, wasn't there that one weird thing where they?
Yeah, no, it didn't work. I guess speaking of like Steve's is making another Batman film.
But do we need another Batman film?
It's
the same question.
What he's going behind are comics like The Long Halloween. He wants to make
live action.
Yeah. Non-cinematic building.
Yeah, they're based off like direct comics, so like they can have like 25-minute long or 35-minute long live action story. They can make it would be kind of like a serial. Yeah, for sure. And instead of making
like, oh, dude, Batman's connected to Joker. Let's make a Joker 2 where they fight.
Yeah. How many movies has Batman had?
Batman's had a good amount. He's had the 3. And then we got Mr. Nipples.
Wait, was that the one where like
Batman and Robin? And then we have the 2 from.
We had 3
from Christopher Nolan.
From We Live in a Society.
Yeah.
We live Batman.
Yeah, it's a bit cringy.
Yeah, it's a little cringy.
I'm gonna tell you guys a story. I was at that movie was Batman the movie, and I thought, wow, Batman. Like I was thinking the Tim Burton Batman because I used to watch that movie a lot when I was a child.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, the Tim Burton Batman. I would love to watch that movie again. I get it. But I didn't look at the details or the description, and I get home, I put it on. It's the Adam West Batman.
How'd it go?
It was entertaining. It is entertaining. I mean, it's very cheesy.
It's a good movie to watch, but I mean, you're not going to be taking it seriously.
And then I did it while I was doing homework or something like that, so I wasn't really paying attention.
That's funny, dude. No, that's definitely cool, and I don't know what to say to that. I feel like it sucks. It sucks that he's leaving the MCU Spider-Man.
I don't mind. I mean, I don't really like the MCU to begin with.
Well, no, I mean, but I mean, like he can't interact with these other characters like he does in the comics anymore. And now he's on his own, but he can interact with new characters such as Morbius and Venom and all that crap. But I don't know. And
what I think another thing to note is the popularity of MCU, like whether or not Disney relation wasn't just by the fans, it was bloated by news outlets.
Yeah.
So it's like news outlets.
Sony, and then because of that, the fans got mad at Sony and blamed Sony because that
he was always Sony's.
He was always Sony's, not theirs.
It was never really Marvel's. You're not watching a Marvel movie technically. You're watching a Sony movie.
Yeah.
That's America was in a Sony movie. He was.
Yeah.
He was.
He was in there for like a cameo. Yeah.
News outlets are very, very biased.
Yeah, no, they can be.
But they aren't just biased towards Disney. Like this isn't just biasm based on like bullshit that's going on in like Hollywood or Buena Vista. I mean, name something that news outlets are biased for.
Ooh.
They can.
Well, there's a lot of political stuff that we got to stay. There's certain things like more like entertainment, and we should stick to that. But like maybe like a different.
Video games.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Music.
They're biased towards a lot of things. Like for example, Vice. They were saying rock is dead. Thank God.
Like, even something as like subjective as music is like being published by these large corporates.
For
Like
sure.
you can basically make anybody think anything if you use the right words.
Just like internet, how they through your research history and all that.
The YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, I think it's crazy, dude.
When you think about it, it's dark because it's like they really hold a lot of.
I read through it, and the whole thing is just, I don't like rock. I like.
Pop
Oh yeah.
And rap and hip hop.
It's because it's popular.
It's popular.
Yeah.
You know,
like,
was Vice around in the 80s?
No.
Oh yeah, no, there's a different news outlet. There was like I can't remember what it was called, but it was around the 80s. They were like super biased towards like.
Yeah.
That's when it was becoming popular culture. That's when people were actually listening to it.
They were saying that
They were glorifying it. They were obsessing over it because that's what everyone liked, and they wanted to like get. Yeah, that's all they're really doing is trying to be relevant. And this one, it's just like, this.
but you're pushing it a little too far because there are always going to be people who sing and like it, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to support stuff like a genre. Don't just say it's dead because you don't like it.
I don't even think that it's like showing favoritism. I think it's like trying to start arguments. They're trying to start.
Yeah.
How can we? And maybe they don't even like. Maybe they don't even believe in the opinion they share. But it's like, how do we?
That's what everybody is with.
Or not even that. It's just like, what's something controversial that we can say?
Sports suck. I'm gonna get a bunch of sports fans,
especially if you work for a big news outlet.
Yeah.
And that's
thank
a good
God.
Thing. Thank God. Or that's a good thing. Have you seen those BuzzFeed articles?
Yeah.
Dead. No, Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Why Luke's dead.
Here's why that's a good thing. They always do that for everything. Here's why that's a good thing.
That's because if someone says if they try to get positive attention, someone says, "Oh, hey, I agree with that. Cool, thanks," and then they move on with their day. This thing I enjoy, and then they keep thinking about it, and they do something about it eventually.
It's cool. It's cool to make sure that you're not on their side, but instead have your own opinion, and your opinions clash, or I don't know what.
Argument. That's what it.
Well, I don't
That's
know.
what it looks like.
I don't know how it got. Sucks that it's gotten to that part, especially because there's a bunch of things to be positive about in our time, like music. Like it's not dead. It brings her and just so you could watch or go to a concert.
This circles back to the other point against it, or at least attacks a certain chunk of it. That could actually get them to turn against each other.
And the news outlet that publishes that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because they're generating revenue off of how many people click on their links.
Yeah.
They're making revenue based on how many people click on their ad.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Nice job. And it's like, oh, I don't agree with this. I'm gonna make a 300-word argument. Tension.
Yeah.
It just reaches back to it's like how far will news outlet they go to create controversy?
How far will they go to get the view?
How far will they go to?
Like some serial killers, all they want is attention, but the way they get that attention is by killing people. I did this, bro.
Like, you know, like when we were really little in like elementary school on the playground, there's always that like hey guys, look at me, and they just like body slam like a pole and
running around, everybody's applauding them. Nice job, bro.
Good job, you broke your arm.
Good job, bro.
And then you're the cool kid.
You're the popular kid.
As long as you have your arm broke.
It's cool. Just cuss at my teacher. At the same time, though, that ruins
you're
my.
gonna record yourself.
That's I'm gonna be doing getting the revenue.
That basically.
It makes you wonder. It's like how much
Gossip and shit.
builds gossiping.
I mean, they don't really believe that because you know how every individual won't cross.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if it's a company, that's no individual person, so no one can take blame for any stupid actions they take. It's just the brand.
The writer can. How much is that writer?
Actually, feeling sorry for it.
How much of that writer's feeling sorry, or how much was it?
It's nothing big. Think about the 10 grand, bro.
Take the 10K.
And show how it's okay to do something, but as long as you say I'm sorry in the end, it's all good.
Going back to Spider-Man.
Oh.
Like, how many people are really going to remember this in the next 2 weeks?
Not a lot. Like
Moving on to the next problem.
And that's why you don't see a bunch of articles that are like talk about I don't know the Texas shooting. The Texas shooting that people are going through a tragedy and they use that so they can move themselves up a little.
They were actually a really, really good news outlet.
They made. Have you seen their documentaries?
Oh yeah. Something happened down the line when they started getting more popular, where they decided to change their good content.
Mm-hmm.
they became sellouts and just went for the clicks.
Just doesn't make the same money as
It does now.
some stupid shit on. It's like, has Vice always been like that?
No.
When you think about it, have they always been like just publishing this sketchy article? What's gonna get us? Maybe money.
But money itself, yeah, money can do a lot
That good
to you. Yeah, money can do a lot to you. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's all good. And when they were speaking about metal, it was a bit, obviously we were talking about, it was controversial because it wasn't.
This we were talking about a little more than a year ago.
Yeah.
So 2018, rock as a genre and more or less all of its like subsidiaries are just not as popular
Excuse me.
as they once were, and they're being, I quote, eclipsed by pop, hip hop, and EDM. The thing is, though, is that a year later, we go, and this article published by Loudwire says, guess what?
That's a lie.
That's a lie. Heavy metal was the fastest growing genre in 2018. The same year that the Vice article was published.
Yeah.
And in heavy metal and all of its subsidiaries like thrash and black and whatever.
Now, real quick, Loudwire is a heavy metal news outlet. It is.
So they're going to have biasm towards
Yeah,
heavy
it's going to be a little bit biased, so we got to tread carefully here. Maybe not side with them all the way, but still, I do agree with them with this news article.
Well, like, if metal wasn't popular, they're still making money.
They're making more than like some pop music stars.
It's insane, but they aren't getting the same attention. By almost no evidence, by the way.
Yeah.
That rock and essentially all of its other genres, like metal, are just falling out of popularity, and they just the very next year it's found out
That's
they
a lie.
didn't die; they were actually growing.
They were growing in popularity, growing in, I don't know what type of people, or communities, but it was just growing. That's all.
Metal and rock. It's like, how can you say it's dead when it's growing? Outlet than Loudwire.
Yeah.
It's like, how can these large media outlets like Vice say, by the way, you know that now go listen to Taylor Swift.
He was dead at
And then
that.
you find out. I know he's dead, but you can still listen to his music.
Yeah.
Thanks for the review. Thanks for the click. Right.
Yeah.
And let's move on to heavy metal. Like, so let's move on. Is heavy metal going to become like this? Loudwire says it was the fastest growing genre.
More like one-off clubs, or almost every single one of them has like a You almost never see like the weird thing with like a band of hipsters with
Yeah, no, but
you never
you're
see that
right.
anymore.
No, you don't see that anymore. It's growing, and people stuff was cool
The 60s. That was when the hippie stuff was cool.
and whatever. I don't give a damn. It hasn't died through that time. People have moved on to EDM,
I would
hip hop, all that crap, but it hasn't.
These late 80s to like 2010, I would say the quality decreased significantly in terms of.
I know a good amount about this.
Yeah.
So in the late 80s, that's when metal was at its prime. I don't know if Slayer and Anthrax, they were both around too.
They were big.
They were huge. And that genre came around, and it just completely like overcasted or new metal, and then like mixing genres.
You think new metal was the thing?
Only a lesser popular genre of metal that became more popular with it.
I think the other point is new metal is. I think we need to admit that new metal is the the greatest appeal to non-metal listeners.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody who listens
Or hip-hop even.
Because is more likely to listen to new metal than they are to listen to
elements in new metal.
New metal, yeah.
Korn, definitely.
It's a very fast-growing genre, how you were talking about, and I'm not. Yeah, no, but it has been growing a lot, and when people, it has no backup, it has no fact backup, if you know what I mean.
It has no evidence. It's like you don't even really need a large amount of evidence. You just need last year or 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So like I can tell you right now, it's like I can't factually say I'm 100% right, but I could say that like just rock music in general.
Yeah.
Compared to
other things.
Compared to hip hop, there is this like. And you don't listen. You don't even listen to metal, right?
Yeah, no, I don't. You've gotten my interest in bands like Metallica. That's pretty cool. Like often I see other people who do the same thing.
And you realize this isn't as small as I thought it was.
Yeah, no. Until I see now and see, yo, this has enough attention. It has a good amount of attention.
There was a huge rise in hip hop and trap. So I think it started like in the late 90s.
Yeah.
When the rise of rap. So it was like it went up and then boom, stalemate. And that's I think where we're at now. where it's like rap has kind of hit. I don't think
Stopped growing.
I think it just stopped. It hit this like wall.
You don't hear about like the next X or something like that anymore.
You don't hear about who's the next
Lil
Big
Uzi or
or
something.
something.
Rap community, it's still all the same people.
It's been the same. Have you heard that joke where it's like, I swear I love that joke,
He
but
keeps breaking records, man.
he's a newcomer,
God's plan.
especially in the last 5 years. Went up and went up, boom. It was the
Mm-hmm.
and now, not necessarily room for other genres to grow, but I think. Do you guys think it's going to continue growing, or do you think it's going to hit like another ceiling?
The ground right now.
Do you think it's going to hit? You think it's going to hit the point where it's going to become mainstream, or do you think it's just going to?
I think it will hit a ceiling, but it won't go down. It will just stay steady. You know.
There's a sharp decline
Oh
in
yeah.
the early 2000s between.
Well, like maybe from like 2000,
But I mean,
because that's when like Megadeth came out with one of their. They came out with
2007, didn't it?
yeah,
But
Excuse me.
I disagree. I don't think it hit a steady.
yeah.
And then now it's started either growing or becoming steady. Now can't say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, nonetheless, it's not dying. That's the main
It's
thing.
not
It's not
dead.
dying.
It's
I don't know, but it's
How much will people become interested in the genre and get tired?
that certain ear for it.
Yeah.
You have to be like, I love hearing distortion on this guitar versus sounds. It's just not necessarily more pleasant. Well,
No, actually,
It's just
It
like
is-
it's
I
just
got
like
something
it's
to
like
say music than it is to write a heavy metal song
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it just
yeah.
takes some like
yeah.
I don't know pudgy 11.
His mommy bought him FL.
His mommy bought him
FL
some-
Studio
There you
for
go.
Christmas.
Spend years learning guitar or maybe the bass or the drums, like learning how to sing.
Learning how.
I think
it takes
there
talent.
was an oversaturation with the electronic music, and that's why it became. That's what they get used to hearing.
And
and
they're just more used to the
People
sound.
grow
of
accustomed to
electronic
it. Yeah, need
talent.
skill.
You need skill, which everybody can get.
Yeah, talent. Not everyone has.
IQ is not a measure of how intelligent you are. It's a measure of how much you can learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a person who's talented with guitar, but they don't practice. They don't do crap.
Because
Who do you think is going to win that battle?
a lot of famous guitarists, when they.
Is that the guitar when they start out?
Yeah, definitely. Well, some people are less garbage than other people.
I saw.
Toddlers.
Yeah, dude. No,
Oh yeah, definitely. 7 years now.
7 years, and so when you first started out, you weren't the.
Garbage. I couldn't do
But
anything.
but you kept progressing because you kept practicing.
I stuck
You
to.
need to have the will. You can practice every day, but if you don't have the will to progress far, you're not going to
I mean-
develop the skills you need to make a
'Cause-
heavy metal soundtrack. Or
Plateaus, and sometimes you don't improve for a while, no matter how hard you practice.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
you just gotta endure it. And sometimes, maybe when you learn a new technique, how to hold a pick differently, or maybe you learn how to hit the strings
you can
differently.
improve.
Then you hit this sudden extreme improvement and think, whoa, I'm getting really
Or it's like
good.
there's new things to learn.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like you need to be able to expand your taste. Not like you can have a certain preference, but it's like, yeah, I can play The Punishment Due perfectly, but try to play Four Seasons. Very different.
I
Very
can,
different genre. Very different way of playing.
I
Yeah.
can play Tornado of Souls at twice the speed, but I cannot play anything melodic off of the Black Album.
Yeah, it's like practicing makes perfect. Having the will gives you the ability to do it. Talent doesn't mean shit. Talent is just a way to say, yeah, you have a high potential of doing this.
Yep. It doesn't mean.
But are you
can
going to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, are more people going to get interested in the guitar though?
Actually,
That's another question.
that is the most popular instrument for people to learn. If we are
Recently,
you learn Wonderwall.
though. You're that one guy that plays Wonderwall at the
Some
parties.
romance dude who wants to impress his girl.
It's like, yeah, but how much are people
Yeah.
really going to learn?
Because almost a lot, check me on that, I'm not certain, 60 to 70% of people have picked up an instrument.
Knows, because you can obviously say when rock got popular in like the 70s,
Yeah.
it's like since metal and rock, or just metal really, is growing as a genre, will more people want to learn and stick to it in the future? What do you think?
This person for sure will. This person won't.
I mean,
It just depends if they want to.
think of it as like a bandwagon or
This,
get a little in that area
we
real
really
quick.
do live in society.
This really is.
We were talking about EDM.
Yeah.
You said a lot more people are trying. Yeah, well, it's easier for sure, but I feel like it's also because of how much technology we have around us. You could bring your small phone and you could make music on that, comparing it to.
It's definitely easier to learn. Like you do need skill to make a.
I don't want to slam electronic music, There are people out there who are really good at that.
We don't have anything against.
Who hate everything else.
I enjoy electronic music.
I like listening to other genres.
I don't really care for synthwave.
Oh yeah.
I like house more.
A lot of people I meet don't like synthwave, but
what is
Vice City, driving in a supercar in Miami?
You know vaporwave or what is it called?
Vaporwave.
It's okay.
Yeah, because people think
okay.
it's too repetitive. But I like to listen to it a lot.
If you want, go ahead and talk about vaporwave.
I don't like vaporwave. I think it was a stupid. The culture around vaporwave, like, it's anti-capitalist, more like pro 80s, 90s aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's stupid, all this like nostalgia crap.
Like stupid, nostalgic. Yeah. Hey guys, did you have an NES in your house when you were?
I don't care.
Don't. If you didn't have a Game Boy Color, if you were born after 1999, you can't think of anything that is ever
posted. If you were a 90s kid, like and subscribe.
It's like you were born in 1990.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just I don't care.
Wasn't the 90s also a really bad time
A
too?
huge crime.
And then we see all these like
pro 90s
30-year-olds or just like circle jerk.
Yeah.
Say that to my face. I'll beat you up in person.
Did you guys have iPhones back then too?
You're gonna die.
You're gonna die if you get cancer in the 90s.
How's that technology doing you? Excuse me.
Either way,
That's what it sounds like to eat, drink, and move.
electronic way.
Is
Yeah.
it a
There's no way it's
rivalry?
gonna go away, huh?
A rivalry to metal?
Oh, they're two different.
No, because you can combine both.
Mm-hmm.
You ever if you ever want to?
Oh yeah, wait.
Or electronic music mixed with metal
Oh,
music.
that's something I want to talk about. Absorbs them and creates its own subgenre. That's what it's always been doing. That's why there are millions of like porno core. That's
Whoa.
real.
Doom metal. Like there's like core, but
That's
it's
probably
probably
real.
a thing.
Yeah,
And they all have their own styles and crap. It's like Ikejian, Viking metal.
those are all just calm thrash metal.
Have you heard Viking metal?
It's,
No,
At
what?
all. Viking metal.
Oh, it was like blah, blah.
There's like historical metal genres.
For sure.
Does it improve on those genres?
oh yeah,
Mostly electronic.
it's really heavy. I
You
like
know what
it.
the best thing is to do
Is
when
mainly-
Kick it while it's down and make sure it doesn't ever get up.
that or yourself, and that's what I wanted to bring up. I heard that you
But you're gonna have to wait because I'm gonna go get a Coke.
go get your
Coke.
go get your Coke voice.
Alright.
You want a Powerade?
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I can't speak from your perspective, but I could definitely speak from my perspective.
Yeah, that's in it.
Yeah.
Like
We can't really see the big
to
picture.
me,
We can't see the big picture because we're part of that picture.
right now.
you don't look stupid. You look edgy. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah, I
just
can
see,
understand
you
that.
just see some kid like going to school right now.
He's like, dude, I'm not listening to anything bad.
It's nothing bad.
It's just Black Sabbath. Part
There
of it.
is, and there's no denying that.
But you know, someone like he just didn't like his parents because they were religious and he was just going against them. But now he's a Christian guitarist of Megadeth, one of the world's biggest metal bands.
Like when I think
And
of metal, I just think of metal. I don't think of Megadeth and Baby Metal.
You
and
don't
all
think
this.
of
I don't think of all these. Yeah, no.
the genre.
I don't think of all these.
There's all this crap. I mean, somebody's a part of it.
Yeah, I feel like
Somebody makes music and somebody listens to that music.
someone who's like talking to them about metal, they don't think about what genre or branch does he listen to. They just
If
Nirvana
you're
or
immersed
something.
in it, then you can like point out what like bands or genres to listen to. But if it's like you're now,
It's like you listen to metal and they're like, yeah, I love Nirvana. It's like, shut up.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Let's hear
I
that.
had a proposal for a new music television show. Before we start, though, I want to say that surpriseme.com, me and him were talking the other day. MTV and we were talking just about music.
Trying to get
Talking about music and television. And I was thinking, I was honest
Yeah.
here.
It
No,
used to
they've-
be. It
they've
used to be a
degraded
big thing.
a
It
lot.
used to be a huge thing.
Their music videos used had something called the Headbangers Ball, I think,
Yeah.
Right.
and basically every Saturday. But they actually produced good stuff, and it was interesting to watch. It was
But-
entertaining.
Yeah. Surprise me's idea.
Yeah, we'd like to get him on with you at some point.
Yeah.
Once you develop this, I guess.
It doesn't have a heartbeat yet, you know.
Get
The
that thing
idea is
aboard.
basically so basically it's lacking because of how much MTV has neglected music channels,
Music TV.
music television. That's literally what they're called.
I just barely got
Well, that's what they are now.
That's what
so
they are
I don't
now.
blame you for thinking that.
But it's like they have
Kids Choice Awards.
you know Kids Choice Awards. You know what's the name? No, it's not
No,
reality TV.
I
It's
know what that is, but I can't remember what it's
You know
called.
what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Public ass
Ass sex.
Ass
Ass
sex.
sex.
They have public access. They have public access shows where they basically just do things dedicated to
Ass.
ass sex. You know? They have a type of shows. It's like they review, check out this new book, right?
Yeah.
Channel dedicated to music, but it sucks because MTV.
That's why they haven't seen our society.
They live in a society. No, they basically know what they want to be anymore.
Relevant.
They don't know. They had an identity crisis, right?
Yeah.
The schedule is like dominated by like the pseudo reality television shows.
The Kardashians.
This Kardashians are on E, bro. Get it right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but these
Already
reality TV shows, and I put that in quotations, they're not really reality, but it's like, it's just not music television show.
She touched my
Like,
butt.
you know, MTV still does the AM broadcast music videos anymore. And if they do, I don't know about it because they have shit to But they still bother to do these awards. It's like, you don't have to write to say what gets an award and what doesn't.
Become more of a movie channel.
Yeah, and then when they do talk about music, it's like little Juice. So I don't know. That's just a made up rapper name, right? That. And it's like it's a facade. The only music-based television channel.
No, it's not.
They're the big.
Yeah.
So if you guys have cable, if you go to like channel 900 and multiple channels, and each channel is based on
Like just.
genre.
Yeah.
So they have like a heavy metal. They do air music.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing they air.
They don't have any like.
No, it's not like a music video. It's just the audio.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, here's what we're playing. Here's the 30 minutes. They like have advertisements.
Yeah.
And so it's constant audio, no video, and it's like, and I watch Music Choice. No, because you can't watch music. It's like both MTV and Music Choice.
You want to take that role and fulfill it.
I don't want to do it. I want to industry, right?
Yeah.
But this is just a proposal. It's an idea.
What's
Yes, but not the only thing.
Yeah, no. What type of music? What genre? Would it be meant to?
What would the content consist of? The content has to be Jersey Shore and Teen Moms too, right? Videos though.
Yeah.
But it has to be based on. So it's like, how do you make content that's based on music but get into? The content has to be diverse, and it has to capture the attention. But the thing is though, is that it can't just be one or two genres, which is based play. No, it is because they used to play other genres. So it's like there's new channels. The music selection has to be diverse, but so does the content. This genre gets this genre gets that, this genre this. Because what genre is better than this genre? That's subjective. We can't prove that. Right? From like 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. because that's when people get off work. Or most people get off hours. It's like from like 5 to like 9 or something like that.
Well, if you get stuck in.
Best quality content there.
Yeah.
So it's like during this prime on Monday, you can show rap and hip hop, right? From 4 p.m. to 8. Wednesday could be like jazz or like big band, right? Foreign music.
Yeah.
So like all that crap from Venezuela.
The Puerto Ricans.
Yeah. Like rock and roll. Which would include metal and set in stone genres. Like that would change obviously to be the most popular genre. The base is like, oh, Monday is always going to be rap and hip hop. No.
It could always change.
Yes.
It'll never
or
be
the
nice.
overarching.
Yeah.
It's like you can't just have a day dedicated to metal. It would have. So you could show metal music, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, and Saturdays pop
Respect
music.
to the Lord.
Pop music would be played in the morning instead of the afternoons.
Yeah. That sounds
New
tough.
music videos would premiere on Saturday evening.
Yeah.
And that's dumb because people are going to work and school in the morning.
I do have one question while you bring this up, though.
Right.
How would you get a handle on these videos? Would you make the videos yourself, or would you just like use the videos that the people already made?
They're music videos.
Oh.
They're music videos. So it's like they're already been made.
I think it'd be more like a server or a host for everything. Like
Yeah.
It'd be like a central routing thing. You'd be a router.
Yeah. But I'm gonna get more into that, how you would get the copyrighted stuff.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, on Sunday though, Sunday is where things get really interesting, because my idea is that on Sundays would essentially be unique, because on Sundays, it would basically be an event where like amateur bands and amateur artists can submit their own music videos.
So Sunday would be
Kind of. So it's like let's say I had an amateur band that played folk music. I don't, by the way, or maybe I do.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Who knows? Mm-hmm.
To the channel. Sundays is like amateur day where you can get exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but the thing is though, it's not like you just send a video of you.
But it has to be professional, if you know what I mean.
Somewhat professional music, I mean.
Yeah.
And then you could just hire like a film company or film.
Put it together if it can do
It
that.
has to be, yeah, it can't just be a raw video of you playing. It's supposed to be amateur hour or amateur day. Play all the new shit.
Yeah. I do have one question. When
We're not making it personally. It's just an idea. Yes.
we'll check back in 10 years.
We'll check back in 10 years. We'll have a follow-up videos in 10 years. Amateur day. Where
All
people would submit their music videos and they would play it and they would be amateur artists or bands.
You kind of count it down, like see which one's the best, and then you're going to air those ones.
Hours though. So what would they play during the actual daytime? Because people are
At home and not doing anything.
housewives. No, seriously, housewives.
Housewives.
So how would you
Neat stoners.
How would you try to reach out to that audience?
Losers and housewives. What do they all
What
have
do
in
these
common?
people have in common?
They all really like
Things get kind of tough because, during the actual weekday, you can air news. So like it's not prime time, but 1 p.m. every day you can have like a section where you just talk about news. It's not just gossip. It has to be like somewhat actual news.
Could be something at least vaguely interesting.
Something vaguely interesting, right? Or like something. They have to be taken up by something.
Yeah.
Another thing is that like a discussion group
Mm-hmm.
can play or record, and basically they would have discussions and arguments about things that are going on in the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
Another idea is that you could have shows where people review music. So it's like, this new album came out and it sucked. I hated it.
So
Or something like that. It would just be it would be shows where people review music, new singles, new albums, new EPs, that type of stuff. That would fill the daytime slot.
okay.
And during the night, I don't know, they could just show like advertisements or like infomercials.
They can just show like weird abstract garbage that you think doesn't have an audience.
It does. People watch that 12 o'clock.
How would you not get the copyright?
So how would the new channel operate? See, this is where things get actually operate. That's where the real challenge lies. How are we going to get, for most bands,
Mm-hmm.
for most artists,
Yeah.
how are you videos, right?
Yeah.
The idea, you can't have a private group that's played by, because you want to know what's going to happen?
Right.
Self-interest, egotism. It's to be somewhat public.
Gotta bring in some Thanos stuff, you know?
Thanos.
You gotta cut him in half, you know?
Thanos.
Than-
It'd be too private because then it's going to be too much self-interest. It's going to get too... What's the word for it where it gets, like, businessly speaking, too big?
Soulless.
Soulless. It would become too soulless. The idea is that the new channel would be a channel that's ran by multiple music labels. And I'll explain to you how this is going to work. These the music labels would form up the bulk of the industry. And since it's ran by them, they would have access to every single type of genre and artist you could think of.
Yeah.
That's how it would work. That's how you would get past copyright. That's how you would get past legal crap.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, though, is that they wouldn't directly... They would control it, but they wouldn't... one record label wouldn't directly control everything.
Yeah.
So it's like each record label would have to send one representative. That would... And all the representatives would form a committee that runs the company.
Yeah.
They would all be equal. Music company.
There are a lot of big
Music
music.
What do you mean, like record
Record label.
producers?
Yeah.
Oh, there's Nuclear Blast. That kind of big.
Nuclear Blast isn't huge though.
Yeah, they're not huge.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
In the late '80s, they were big.
Some pretty big record labels. Columbia Records, they signed over.
Columbia Records is big.
Yeah,
So it's like
huge.
Columbia Records wouldn't get a bigger say compared to Nuclear.
Yeah.
And the thing is though is that they would have to collaborate. So it's like a label.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea. But the thing is though is that the selection of which record labels get representation has to be diverse too. Labels, 2 metal labels, 2
EDM.
labels. So it's like, so let's say there's the CEO of the company or the board or the committee.
Yeah.
And the idea is that collaborate together, choose who's going to be the chairman.
So they have to come together.
Say yes, let's make a music channel that they're not going to want to do that
Because they're greedy.
That's the biggest problem. Community based, channel based.
Place. Yeah.
You know, channel.
It's bringing them together.
It's bringing the labels together. It's
No one will be.
exposure.
No favoritism.
No favoritism.
Yeah.
You know, something you could do if you started out on an already existing network, like buy a chunk of their time and then schedule it from there, and then if that gains traction,
That's the hard thing though, is that it can't just be like a privately run company.
Get them to do that.
Bands,
As much people as you
as
can.
much bands and artists as possible. How do we get them to do that? That's the question, and
I bring these people together without causing a conflict within the system. There was no outside forces. It was just them just fucking each other up, I guess you could say, fucking the dignity and just turn to rage and shit.
Yeah, it's going to be hard getting these to deliver high quality content to the public.
Yeah.
It's gonna, committee gets a 10% share.
Shit.
10% share. Bam.
Mm-hmm.
That's impossible to avoid. But since there's going to be advertisements, they're going to be making money.
So do you feel like any company would try to step forward and be like, yo, I want 50% or something?
we could do things where it's like leagues. You know how in like boxing,
You just
It's the same thing in soccer too,
welterweight,
right?
middleweight.
yeah,
Where it's like that's how you move up to become. But I don't know how that would work though.
the smaller companies, they're companies that are on the same.
But then the bigger record labels are always going to want to buy them out to get a bigger.
They would split 50-50, or maybe you got to pay them extra for something else, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because that would.
They're always going to want to be, instead of 10, I want 20.
Instead of 20, I want 30. So
Yes, and no, you can't just get more because you're bigger. You have to work together. It could work where like instead of them being directly ran by them, it could be like an actual. That is that they're going to buy each other out.
Oh,
They
yeah.
will buy each other out. So Columbia, whatever.
Nuclear would not do anything. They would
You
just
would be
shrivel up and die.
surprised when money
No, I'm
you get.
kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Only one company's gonna want to be still gonna be there because
Yeah.
he bought everybody out. That's gonna happen. Directly run it, have it channeling,
But
have
not-
it community.
But not allow them to buy each other out and like kind of.
Cats or something.
You could, yeah. It
They're gonna
be
do their
like
own thing, and you can't really stop them from doing their own thing.
Each record profit made.
And I'm the one who controls that, so you can't buy anybody else out.
But it can be
Yeah.
one of those things. Oh yeah, okay, a little bit more money.
You could do it's like if you want to make more money, you have to contribute more to the channel for one of the shows we're making.
That sounds interesting, yeah.
It
Yeah.
work like that. We're always gonna contribute the most.
What about the popularity? What if people, how you were saying, EDM goes on the rise again and people start more profit compared to everybody else?
Definitely.
Yeah,
Like keep it proportionate. Up. Equality of opportunity, not
equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome.
yeah.
More
More money,
It's like okay,
more income.
you get 20%. You're still gonna. And you're gonna get upset. They're gonna be like, "That's not fair."
That's not fair. We want more income. We want more money. But
Like that's a good point, but you're still gonna be making more money.
speaking of that, you said that if they start bringing in more profit, if what's it called? If they the amount of share that they have,
Probably each label or which genre-based label is making discriminate because one genre is more popular. you can argue, well, it's more popular,
But no.
but then you're neglecting the other people who watch it too, and then you're gaining more money.
Process, so it's technically like a no-win.
It's a no-win-win situation, and that's the hardest part here. So we're gonna give you more money, but we're not gonna air your genre more. They're not gonna want to do that. It's like, sorry.
It's like, hey, yo, fuck you.
Well, fuck you, yeah. Sorry, pal. Not an unrealistic situation, right?
Yeah.
That's and then.
So maybe on these off days you should broadcast them more.
Instead of doing discussion channel, yeah, that's a good point. Instead of doing that, it's like, okay, we fulfill the blank time slots with your genre instead of there. Would they really be making more money though? At the end of the day, this is still just a.
It's still not a bad vision. It's not a bad idea or concept, and it could definitely work.
It could be just television. It could be like
Radio.
Radio. It could be. It could have very high money making potential, but how you could tell them it's like, yo, we're gonna be making a lot of money if we do this right, and they're gonna be like more as a
Spotify or
streaming versus cable. They're playing like religious stuff if you're lucky.
You're lucky.
Yeah, and streaming, you just
television will become more popular.
Yeah,
and they'll be like,
because the whole point is
it could be really successful if done right, but money. Getting these record labels to work together, and then you get all this money to put these different shows together. Just to have a record label say "fuck off," and then the thing falls apart.
And it's an amazing vision. Is the companies, because they're unpredictable.
Columbia could say, "Yeah, we'll do this. This is great."
Then they're gonna be like, "No,
we'll call all the other record labels." 2 years down the line, Columbia's gonna say, "Well, I was one of the founder record labels. I should get
more money.
I should be out." And every record label will be called together. Ooh, you're in a tough spot now.
Other record labels are gonna be like, "Hey, how come you're not paying me that same amount?"
It's like, well, we can't pay you because you're just trying to remind you though that it isn't just like you're buying the rights; they're running it too. They're actually running it. So it's like, oh well, you get an equal representation. It's like
the other one.
Instead of getting one representative, I should get 2 or 3. They're gonna
prepared and ready.
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
The best of luck. I'm gonna give you the best of luck on that, and I really appreciate you. Thank you,
Greg.
Gregorious.
Hey, Greg. Okay.
Thank you, Greggy. But the way you saw metal that I wasn't able to see, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So let's not forget that best cap rate.
Thank you to the viewers too.
Thank you to the viewers too, for sure. Thank you for watching this. If you're not watching this, fuck you. Okay. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So basically, that fuck you. If you get mad at us, you just gotta watch the video. It's not
watch the video.
You gotta watch the video to get mad, but if you don't watch the video, you're not gonna get mad.
If everybody watches it, no one will get offended.
Yeah.
But, okay, well, thank you for being on the show, and web out, bro.
Web out.